I think Madrid for him was a little bit of a transition, because for you, he was a winger. In Madrid, he became more the goal scorer that he was for the rest of his career. In fact, probably was the first time he played a big match as a striker was Real Madrid-Barcelona in a cup final, where he scored an amazing goal with an amazing header on extra time. Probably that was the beginning of people having a feeling that that animal could be a goal scorer and not just the pure.
In the summer of 2026, football fans witnessed one of the biggest surprise reunions in modern history as Florentino Perez brought Jose Mourinho back to Real Madrid. 13 years after their first time working together came to an end. It was a move that caught almost everyone off guard and instantly became one of the biggest stories in the sport. For younger fans, this is the first time they've ever seen Perez and Mourinho join forces. But longtime Madrid supporters remember the Special One era very clearly. His first spell at the club was packed with huge moments, intense pressure, and non-stop headlines that people still talk about today. What's even more unbelievable is how similar Mourinho's situation in 2026 is to the challenge he faced 16 years earlier. Perez made it clear that Real Madrid needed a strong, experienced manager with authority to lead the club into its next chapter. To make it happen, Madrid triggered the €15 million release clause in Mourinho's Benfica contract, bringing his time in Portugal to an immediate end. It was a massive fee for a manager, but Perez believed it was the right price to bring back someone he trusted for the job. Real Madrid's transfer plan was built around one goal, giving Jose Mourinho a squad that matched the way he wanted to play. The club strengthened the defense by bringing in Cucurella, Dumfries, and Konate. Then they added Bernardo Silva to bring more control, calmness, and quality to the midfield. They even pushed for players like Diomande and Rodri, showing just how much trust Florentino Perez had in the Special One and his vision for the team. That confidence wasn't random. Perez already knew exactly what Mourinho could do because they had worked together from 2010 to 2013. When Mourinho first arrived at Real Madrid, the club was in a difficult spot. They were struggling to keep up with Pep Guardiola's dominant Barcelona and had been knocked out of the Champions League in the round of 16 for 6 straight seasons. Today, Real Madrid are known as the kings of European football, but back then, their European record was nowhere near that level, making those years a huge frustration for the club and its fans. Perez realized that simply collecting world-class talent wasn't enough. The team needed clear structure, discipline, accountability, and a manager with the personality to demand total commitment from every player. At that time, Mourinho was at the very top of world football after leading Inter to a historic treble. They even lifted the Champions League trophy after defeating Pep's Barcelona in the semifinals, making Mourinho the perfect choice for Real Madrid's rebuild. The changes started right away in Mourinho's very first transfer window. Working side by side with Florentino Perez, he helped build a squad that perfectly matched his football style with speed, power, and deadly counterattacks at the heart of everything. Angel Di Maria arrived to bring explosive pace down the wings, while Mesut Ozil gave the team the vision and creativity to unlock even the toughest defenses. Sami Khedira added non-stop energy, strength, and balance in midfield, while Ricardo Carvalho reunited with Mourinho to bring experience, leadership, and defensive organization to the back line. Those signings became the foundation of a dangerous 4-2-3-1 system that fit Mourinho's tactical ideas almost perfectly and turned Madrid into a nightmare for opponents. The first big reward came less than a year later. In the 2010-11 Copa del Rey final against Pep Guardiola's Barcelona at Mestalla, Real Madrid finally broke through in one of football's biggest rivalries. Deep into extra time, Angel Di Maria delivered a perfect cross, and Cristiano Ronaldo climbed above everyone to power home the winning header in the 103rd minute. It was a moment that sent Madrid fans into celebration and proved this team could rise when the pressure was at its highest. That victory ended a 3-year wait for a trophy. But its biggest impact went far beyond winning silverware. It gave the entire squad confidence and belief after years of coming up short against Pep's Barcelona. Mourinho showed his players that their biggest rivals could be beaten on the biggest stage, and that mindset changed everything. The following 2011-12 season went on to become one of the greatest league campaigns in Real Madrid's history and is still remembered as one of the most dominant domestic seasons European football has ever witnessed. Mourinho's Real Madrid didn't just win La Liga, they tore through the competition and smashed record after record on the way to the title. They finished the season with an unbelievable 100 points, winning 32 of their 38 league matches and losing only twice. Even more incredible, they scored a stunning 121 goals, averaging more than 3 goals every game, while ending the campaign with an astonishing plus 89 goal difference. They were just as dangerous away from home. Madrid won 16 of their 19 league matches on the road, proving they could dominate no matter where they played. A huge reason for that success was Mourinho's lightning-fast counter-attacking style. The moment Madrid won the ball, they looked to attack without hesitation, catching opponents completely off guard before they had time to recover.
In Real Madrid, I had my best team in direct counter-attack. Because I had young Di Maria, young Ronaldo, young Higuain, and young Benzema. We killed everybody in offensive transition.
Xabi Alonso and Sami Khedira were the perfect midfield partnership. They combined defensive strength with outstanding passing ability, making them the engine that kept the team moving. Their mission was simple: win the ball back, move it forward as quickly as possible, and let Madrid's attacking stars take over. In front of them, Mesut Ozil became the creative mastermind, while Angel Di Maria stretched defenses with his incredible pace and fearless runs down the wing. Leading the attack, Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, and Gonzalo Higuain formed one of the deadliest front lines of the modern era, combining for 89 La Liga goals between them. Benzema and Higuain shared the striker role, while Ronaldo delivered one brilliant performance after another. Then came April 21st, 2012. With the league title almost within reach, Real Madrid traveled to Camp Nou for a massive El Clasico against Pep Guardiola's Barcelona in a match that would help define the entire season. Messi versus Ronaldo, Pep Guardiola versus Jose Mourinho. That rivalry produced some of the most unforgettable moments football has ever seen. When everything was on the line, Mourinho's Real Madrid stepped up and defeated Barcelona 2-1 at Camp Nou. Cristiano Ronaldo scored the winning goal before delivering his famous Calma celebration, a moment that quickly became part of football history. Just a few weeks later, Real Madrid were officially crowned La Liga champions. That title meant much more than simply ending Barcelona's run at the top. Mourinho's squad rewrote the Spanish record books and set a new standard with their incredible 100-point season. It proved that Real Madrid could do more than challenge Guardiola's Barcelona. They could outperform them across an entire league campaign. But after reaching the top of Spanish football, things changed much faster than anyone expected. Mourinho's final season at the club slowly fell apart. A team that had looked nearly unstoppable became surrounded by dressing room tension, non-stop media attention, and disappointing performances on the pitch. Years later, Mourinho described the 2012-13 campaign as one of the toughest seasons of his managerial career, with many of the biggest challenges happening behind the scenes rather than during matches. His relationship with several experienced players became increasingly strained, especially with club captain Iker Casillas. One of Mourinho's most talked about decisions was leaving the legendary goalkeeper out of the starting lineup in favor of Antonio Adan, before later bringing in Diego Lopez as the team's first-choice goalkeeper. The decision sparked huge debate and remained one of the defining talking points of his time at Real Madrid. That decision divided the Real Madrid fan base and quickly became one of the biggest stories across Spain. Many supporters backed Mourinho, while others felt he had taken things too far, turning the goalkeeper situation into a non-stop talking point that dominated football headlines. His relationships with several other important figures also became increasingly difficult. There were widely reported disagreements with Sergio Ramos, and Mourinho later acknowledged that Cristiano Ronaldo did not always agree with tactical criticism. The strong unity that had powered Madrid to their incredible 100-point title the season before was starting to fade, and the atmosphere around the club became much more tense. Away from the matches, Mourinho's fiery personality continued to attract attention. One of the most memorable moments came during the Spanish Super Cup against Barcelona, when he poked Barcelona assistant coach Tito Vilanova in the eye. The incident became one of the defining images of that intense rivalry and drew heavy criticism from across the football world. Before long, those off-field issues were reflected in the team's performances. After lifting the La Liga title the previous season, Real Madrid finished 15 points behind Barcelona in the league standings, marking a dramatic drop from the heights they had reached just 1 year earlier. Real Madrid's season ended with even more disappointment. They lost the Copa del Rey final to city rivals Atletico Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu, and their Champions League dream ended once again with a semi-final defeat to Borussia Dortmund. It was the third straight season Mourinho had guided Madrid to the Final Four of Europe's biggest competition, but the final always stayed just out of reach. By May 2013, it was clear the partnership had reached its end. Florentino Perez announced that Mourinho would leave the club by mutual agreement, closing the chapter on one of the most dramatic and unforgettable managerial spells in modern Real Madrid history. Even with the difficult ending, what Mourinho achieved during those 3 years could not simply be overlooked. Across 178 matches, Mourinho won 127 games and finished with an outstanding 71.9% win rate, averaging 2.30 points per match. During his time in charge, he lifted 1 La Liga title, 1 Copa del Rey, and 1 Spanish Super Cup, while consistently taking Real Madrid deep into the Champions League. It's also important to remember where the club stood before he arrived. Prior to Mourinho, Madrid had been eliminated in the Champions League round of 16 for 6 consecutive seasons. Under his leadership, they became regular semi-final contenders and re-established themselves among Europe's strongest teams. The ending may have been filled with tension, but Mourinho's impact on Real Madrid is impossible to ignore. He took over a squad that was struggling to keep pace with Pep Guardiola's Barcelona and left behind a team that believed it could challenge anyone. Many of the players and foundations developed during his spell remained important as the club continued its success in the years that followed. His overall record still compares favorably with almost every manager who came after him, securing his place as one of the most influential coaches of the Florentino Perez era. Now, Mourinho steps into a situation that feels remarkably similar to the one he faced back in 2010, except now he has a lot more gray hair. Back then, Real Madrid lacked defensive discipline, tactical organization, and the winning mentality needed to consistently challenge a Barcelona side that was performing at an exceptionally high level. Once again, Mourinho has been brought in with the expectation of rebuilding the team, restoring belief, and creating another side capable of competing for the biggest trophies. Even with a squad full of world-class talent, Real Madrid kept falling short in the biggest moments. 16 years after Mourinho first arrived, Florentino Perez believed many of the same issues had returned. Once again, Madrid were packed with superstar players, but the team's balance had started to disappear. Their attack featured some of the biggest names in world football, including stars who had shined on the international stage, yet too much of the defensive workload was being left to the back line and midfield. Opponents repeatedly took advantage whenever Madrid lost possession. The spaces left behind became easy targets, and the team's defensive shape and work rate no longer matched the incredible quality of its individual players. One tactical problem stood out so clearly that almost every fan watching could spot it right away: the left side of the attack. Both Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. naturally preferred starting from the left before cutting inside onto their stronger right foot. Without clear positional discipline, they often drifted into the same areas. crowding the left half space and making Madrid's attacks much easier to predict. At the same time, the center of the penalty area was often left without enough presence, while the right wing was used far less than it could have been. Instead of stretching opponents across the full width of the pitch, Madrid repeatedly attacked through the same channels, allowing defenses to prepare and close them down more easily. The midfield created another major challenge as well. Jude Bellingham is at his best when making powerful late runs into the box, but those forward bursts could leave large gaps behind him if the ball was lost. Whenever Madrid gave possession away high up the field, opponents often found plenty of room to launch quick counterattacks through the middle because the central midfield lacked enough protection. The front line also offered limited defensive cover, with Mbappe and Vinicius often staying higher up the pitch, leaving Madrid's defenders to deal with difficult wide situations against overlapping opponents far too often. When you added the lack of midfield protection to a defense already dealing with constant injuries, Real Madrid looked far too easy to break down. Those were exactly the kinds of problems Florentino Perez believed Jose Mourinho was the right man to fix. Just like in 2010, Perez wasn't only searching for another top-level tactician. Real Madrid had already tried a different approach. But Perez wanted something more. He was looking for a manager with the personality to take control of the dressing room, manage big-name players, and build a culture where the team always came before any individual, more than anyone else. Perez believed Mourinho had the authority, experience, and leadership needed to bring discipline, accountability, and clear standards back to the club. The challenge also included getting the very best out of players like Kylian Mbappe while making sure everyone followed the same tactical plan. Mourinho's reputation has always been built on convincing even the biggest stars to fully commit to the system, and that was expected to be one of his first tasks after returning to Madrid. His first priority was restoring structure to the team. Mourinho immediately went back to his trusted 4-2-3-1 formation, giving every player a clearly defined role instead of allowing the attacking players to constantly drift into the same spaces. His football philosophy has always been straightforward. Every player must know exactly what is expected of them, both in possession and without the ball. One of the biggest tactical adjustments would likely be separating the roles of Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. Mbappe would be expected to operate mainly as the central striker, using his explosive pace to stretch defenses through the middle and constantly threaten runs behind the back line, creating more balance across Madrid's attack. Vinicius Jr., meanwhile, will be expected to stay high and wide on the left, where he is at his most dangerous. From there, he can isolate defenders in one-on-one situations before driving into the box or cutting inside when the right moment appears. In midfield, Bernardo Silva is expected to become the player who brings calm and control back to the team. His ability to stay composed under pressure, keep possession, and dictate the tempo could give Real Madrid the stability they have been missing for a long time. Alongside a holding midfielder, Bernardo would also give Jude Bellingham the freedom to play as an advanced number 10. That role allows Bellingham to make his trademark late runs into the penalty area while still recovering quickly into a compact midfield shape whenever Madrid lose possession. And if Real Madrid managed to sign Rodri as well, that midfield could become one of the strongest and most balanced in world football. The summer signings also have the potential to completely reshape Madrid's defense. Marc Cucurella gives Mourinho a disciplined and hard-working option at left back, while Denzel Dumfries brings non-stop energy, strength, and attacking runs down the right. If a more creative approach is needed, Trent Alexander-Arnold offers another option with his outstanding passing and playmaking ability from wide areas. At the heart of the defense, Ibrahima Konate adds pace, strength, and dominance in the air, while Dean Huijsen brings confidence on the ball and the ability to build attacks from the back. Further forward, Diomande gives the team much-needed balance by providing a natural option on the right wing. Madrid also added Carlos Espe as another striker, giving the squad a different profile with his height, physical presence, and finishing ability inside the penalty area. He could become an excellent backup option for Kylian Mbappe throughout a long and demanding season. What's really fascinating is how history seems to be repeating itself. In two completely different eras, Florentino Perez arrived at the very same conclusion. Both times, Jose Mourinho inherited a squad packed with incredible talent but lacking balance, discipline, and a clear collective identity. And in both cases, Perez believed the answer wasn't signing more superstars. It was building a stronger team. For Perez and Mourinho, the formula has never changed. Talent might win individual matches, but discipline, organization, teamwork, and sacrifice are what win championships. If Mourinho can bring those qualities back to Real Madrid once again, this new chapter could become just as unforgettable as the first. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with other football fans. I'd also love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. Do you think Mourinho can lead Real Madrid back to the top again? And if you want to watch another video like this one, click the video on your screen right now.